Here's the truth no one wants to tell you. You've been taught to aim too low. That's right. You've been told to set realistic goals. But let me ask you something. What if you're capable of so much more than you think? What if you could achieve things you haven't even dreamed of yet? By the end of this video, your entire approach to success will change. You'll no longer settle for mediocrity. You will learn how to set goals that push you to your absolute limits and help you achieve more than you ever thought possible. Ready to start? Let's go. Setting goals that scare you is where true growth begins. If you're not setting goals that make you feel uneasy, uncomfortable, or even downright terrified, then you're selling yourself short. Most people aim for what's within their reach, what feels comfortable, familiar, and safe. But let me tell you this, comfort is the enemy of progress. If you're only setting goals that feel easy, then you're not pushing yourself to the limits of what you're capable of. To achieve extraordinary things, you need to set goals that force you to become someone new, someone who can handle the challenges and risks that come with that goal. Take Elon Musk, for example. When he set out to create SpaceX, people laughed at him. They said it was impossible. He was aiming for the stars, literally. He set a goal that scared him. And guess what? He failed. Over and over. SpaceX launched multiple rockets that didn't make it to orbit, yet Musk didn't back down. His goal wasn't just to create a rocket company, it was to make humanity a multi-planetary species. That's a goal that is not just ambitious, but borderline insane. But it was that exact goal, the one that scared him, that propelled him forward. It's why today SpaceX is not only making space travel possible, but changing the entire aerospace industry. Musk didn't back down because he understood something fundamental. You need to set goals that stretch you beyond what you think is possible. But why does it have to be a scary goal? The reason is simple. Fear is the signal that you're onto something important. Fear is not something to avoid. It's the very sign that you're heading in the right direction. Fear is an emotional response to uncertainty, to risk, and to the unknown. And those are the exact qualities that accompany any goal worth chasing. The more fear you feel, the bigger the potential for growth. Think about the last time you felt fear. Did you take action despite it, or did it hold you back? The greatest people in history weren't fearless. They were just people who acted in spite of fear. They knew fear is a natural part of the journey toward greatness. Take Oprah Winfrey. Her goal of becoming the queen of media was so big that it seemed impossible at the time. She was told she wasn't pretty enough, she wasn't fit for television, that she wasn't cut out for success. The fear of rejection, the fear of failure, it was all there. But Oprah didn't let fear stop her. She embraced it, used it as fuel, and pushed forward. Her goal was bigger than the rejection she feared. Her vision was greater than the limitations others tried to impose on her. Oprah understood that if you don't set goals that scare you, then you're selling your potential short. Now, you might be wondering, what's the point of setting a goal that scares me? What if I fail? Here's the thing. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. The road to achieving your dreams isn't a straight line. It's a winding, often unpredictable journey full of setbacks. But every failure along the way teaches you something invaluable. It strengthens your character, sharpens your focus, and refines your strategy. You see, when you set a goal that scares you, you are putting yourself in a position to grow. And growth requires discomfort. Growth requires challenges. Growth requires you to get out of your own head and believe in your ability to rise to the occasion. Every goal that scares you will demand that you step into your highest potential, your future self that is capable of achieving the impossible. And that's where the magic happens. Think about J.K. Rowling, who was rejected by 12 publishers before finally landing a deal for Harry Potter. She could have given up after the first rejection, the second, or even the 12th, but her goal was bigger than her fears. She believed in her story, in her writing, and in her vision. Today, she's one of the richest and most influential authors in the world. Her success came from a goal that terrified her, and she didn't let fear stop her. The key takeaway here is simple. Don't aim for what's safe, aim for what scares you. Because when you set goals that scare you, you are setting yourself up to achieve things that most people think are impossible. And that, my friend, is where the greatest rewards are. Breaking down big goals into bite-sized steps is one of the most powerful strategies you can use to achieve anything. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you look at a massive goal and think, how am I ever going to accomplish that? But here's the truth. You don't have to accomplish everything at once. Big dreams, big goals, big ambitions, they all seem impossible when you look at them as a whole. But if you break them down into small, manageable steps, you can make consistent progress every day, and that's where success is built. Let's look at Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player to ever live. Do you think he got to that level of mastery by practicing for hours only once in a while? Absolutely not. Jordan wasn't just about the game itself. He was about breaking down his improvement into smaller incremental steps. Every time he hit a new level, he raised the bar again. He didn't try to become the greatest overnight. He spent hours working on specific aspects of his game: shooting, defense, footwork, conditioning. He broke down the overwhelming goal of being the best into the small steps that would get him there. And it paid off. Jordan's success didn't happen because he focused on the final outcome. It happened because he focused on each day's small improvement. The key here is this: you have to get rid of the big picture overwhelm. When you look at your goal, whether it's building a business, writing a book, or becoming the best in your field, it's easy to feel like it's an insurmountable task. That's where most people stop. They get paralyzed by the size of the mountain. But the truth is, you don't climb a mountain in one step. You take it one step at a time. J.K. Rowling didn't write Harry Potter in one sitting. The book that went on to inspire millions was written in small chunks, day by day. When she first started writing, it was just one chapter, then another, then another. The task of writing an entire series would have been far too intimidating if she had thought about it as a whole. Instead, she focused on one step at a time, and those small steps led to a worldwide phenomenon. The power of breaking things down is that it turns the overwhelming into the achievable. Psychologically, when you break down your goals, you're tricking your brain into seeing the task as doable. Our brains are wired to avoid stress and overwhelm, which is why big, undefined goals often make us freeze. But when you break things down into actionable tasks, your mind sees them as smaller challenges that are easier to tackle. This is where momentum starts. Small wins add up, and when you start checking off those steps, you feel empowered, you feel progress, and that's the fuel that keeps you going. The more wins you stack up, the more confident you become, and the more energy you put into the next step. It's like building a house. You don't just throw all the materials together and expect it to stand. First, you lay the foundation. Then you build the walls. Then you put up the roof. Each part is vital, but you have to take it one step at a time. Without that process, the house would never come together. Your goals are the same way. If you skip steps or try to rush ahead, you're skipping the very things that will make your success sustainable. So let's talk about your goals. What is something you've been thinking about doing but keep pushing aside because it seems too big? Is it starting a business, writing a book, getting into peak physical shape? Take that big goal and start breaking it down. What's the first thing you can do today that moves you closer to it? Maybe it's drafting a plan, doing some research, or just setting aside time to focus on it. Once you take that first small step, you'll realize something powerful. You're capable of so much more than you thought. And now the goal feels more like a series of manageable tasks instead of a daunting mountain. The key takeaway here is simple. When you break down your big goals into bite-sized steps, you give yourself the ability to succeed. You turn your dreams into daily actions, and with each small step, you build momentum. And before you know it, the big goal that once seemed impossible will be a reality, not because you tackled everything at once, but because you tackled it one small piece at a time. Writing your goals down is one of the simplest yet most powerful actions you can take to set yourself up for success. Let me put it this way. If your goals are just floating around in your head, they're not goals. They're wishes. And wishes don't get you anywhere. Goals need to be tangible, they need to be concrete, and they need to be committed to paper. Writing them down forces you to bring them into reality. It's the first step toward turning your dreams into actionable plans. Let's look at Jim Carrey, one of the most iconic comedians and actors of our time. Many people don't know this, but long before Carrey was a household name, he wrote himself a check for $10 million for acting services rendered and postdated it for Thanksgiving 1995. He kept that check in his wallet and visualized himself receiving that amount of money for his work. When the time came, he received a contract for a movie, Dumb and Dumber, and the check he received for that movie was exactly $10 million. Jim Carrey didn't just think about his success, he wrote it down, he believed it, and he took the necessary steps to make it happen. That check was more than just a piece of paper. It was a commitment to himself, a statement that his dreams weren't just thoughts floating around in his head. They were real, achievable goals. There's power in putting pen to paper. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are far more likely to achieve them. In fact, a famous study done by Dominican University found that those who wrote down their goals were 42% more likely to achieve them than those who didn't. Why? Because writing down your goals does something psychologically powerful. It commits you to them. It forces you to think about what you want and why you want it. Writing them down doesn't just make them official, it brings your goals into your subconscious mind so that your brain begins to work towards them without you even realizing it. Think about it. When you write something down, you are making a decision. You're deciding that this goal is worth your time, your energy, and your effort. You're telling the universe that you're not just passively wishing for something, you're actively committing to making it happen. And the brain responds to that commitment. It starts searching for solutions, opportunities, and ways to bring those goals into your life. It works in ways you can't always see, but it's a powerful force. Writing your goals down forces you to clarify your vision. It forces you to think about what you truly want. It makes you put your desires in front of you every single day. And that constant focus keeps them alive in your mind, constantly pushing you to take action toward them. But it's not just about writing down vague, abstract thoughts like, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. Goals must be specific and measurable. You need to know exactly what you're aiming for. Take Elon Musk, for instance. When Musk wanted to revolutionize the electric car industry with Tesla, he didn't just say, I want to build a successful car company. No, he wrote down the specific goals he needed to reach. Design an electric car that is both affordable and desirable. Create a nationwide network of charging stations and bring electric cars to the mainstream. Musk set detailed, measurable goals, and he was relentlessly focused on achieving them. He wrote them down, committed to them, and took action. You have to do the same. When you write down your goals, make them specific, clear, and measurable. What do you want to achieve? By when? And how will you measure your progress? These aren't just questions you should answer. They are the blueprint for your success. A goal without a plan is just a wish, and wishes don't manifest themselves. You have to make your goals as concrete as possible. So here's the challenge. Get out a piece of paper or your phone right now and write down one big goal you want to achieve. Be specific. Be bold. Don't write it down like a wish. Write it down as if it's happening right now. Visualize it as if it's already true. And then ask yourself, what's the first step I can take today to get closer to this goal? Writing it down doesn't just make it real, it makes you accountable to it. It gives you a path to follow and a way to track your progress. And once that goal is written, it's no longer just a thought. It's a promise to yourself, a commitment to your future. And that's when everything starts to change. So go ahead, write your goals down, take that first step, commit to them, and start working toward them. Because the moment you make that commitment, you've already started turning your dreams into reality. Creating a vision board is one of the most powerful tools you can use to transform your dreams into reality. People often think that a vision board is just a bunch of pretty pictures stuck to a board, but let me tell you, it's so much more than that. A vision board is a physical manifestation of your deepest desires, a tool that connects your subconscious mind to the future you want to create. When you create a vision board, you're not just looking at a collection of images, you're setting an intention, focusing your mind, and tapping into the power of visualization. The truth is, you can have all the goals and plans in the world, but if you don't clearly visualize what you want, it's easy to get distracted or overwhelmed. A vision board forces you to make your dreams visual, to see them clearly every single day, which sets in motion the changes necessary to bring them to life. Let's take John Assaraf, a successful entrepreneur, as an example. Years ago, John placed a picture of his dream home on a vision board. The picture was of a mansion, a place that was way beyond his wildest dreams. Years passed, and he found himself moving into a new house. And as he walked into the room, he realized that the house he had moved into was the exact house in the picture on his vision board. He had completely forgotten about the vision board, but his subconscious mind had been working toward it the entire time. What happened? He had visualized his goal every day. By seeing that house constantly in front of him, his brain had subconsciously pulled him toward it. The vision board wasn't just a wish, it was a tool for programming his mind to make that dream a reality. This is the power of visualization. When you create a vision board, you're setting a roadmap in your mind. You're telling your subconscious exactly what you want. Your brain works like a GPS system. It needs a destination. And when You give it a clear picture, it starts to guide you toward that destination. The vision board activates the law of attraction. It focuses your energy, your thoughts, and your actions on your goals. And the more you look at it, the more your mind starts seeking opportunities and aligning itself with your purpose. But let's dive into the psychology of why this works. Visualization is backed by science. When you vividly picture yourself achieving a goal, your brain doesn't differentiate between real and imagined experiences. It sees the images you create in your mind as if they're already happening. When you combine this with a vision board, you're essentially training your brain to see your success before it happens. This type of mental rehearsal activates the neural pathways responsible for goal achievement. By consistently seeing these images, you're reinforcing the belief that your goals are not just possible, they're inevitable. You don't have to just put images of material things on your vision board. Sure, you can have pictures of the dream house or the car, but you can also include representations of your emotional desires like happiness, balance, and love. Perhaps you want to feel more confident. Add words or images that remind you of your own strength. Maybe you want to build better relationships. Find images of happy families, friends, or people you admire. The beauty of a vision board is that it's entirely personal, entirely yours. It's a reflection of who you want to become and how you want to feel. The more you connect emotionally with the images you place, the more powerful the visualization becomes. Now let's talk about the practical side of creating a vision board. It's not just about cutting out pretty pictures and gluing them to a board. No, this is about creating a vision that truly excites you, something that moves you every single time you look at it. The key is to find images and words that align with your goals and make you feel something. When you look at your board, it should stir up emotion. It should make you feel inspired, motivated, and ready to take action. Every day as you look at it, you should be reminded that your goals are possible. It's about creating a physical reminder of your vision that keeps you focused and excited. The next step is to make your vision board visible. Don't hide it in a drawer. Put it somewhere you will see it every day, whether it's in your office, bedroom, or living room. It should be a constant visual reminder of your potential, a place where you can reflect on your progress and keep your vision front and center. The more you look at it, the more your mind will align itself with your goals. Here's the challenge. Create your vision board today. Gather pictures, words, and anything that represents what you want to achieve, whether it's an image of your dream career, a place you want to travel, or a way of living you aspire to. Start putting it together. And once it's done, look at it every single day. Feel the excitement, the desire, and the belief that it's already happening. Your vision board is the tool that will bring your dreams into reality. It will serve as a constant reminder that everything you want is not only possible, it's already on its way. Developing unstoppable belief is the key to unlocking everything you're capable of. Belief is the fuel that drives you forward when everything else is pushing you backward. It's the difference between those who give up when things get tough and those who rise to greatness. Belief is not just a feeling, it's the foundation of every success story. Without it, you'll fall short. With it, you will move mountains. Let's take a look at Oprah Winfrey. She was told she wasn't fit for TV, that she was too emotional, that she didn't have the look for success. People doubted her at every turn. But Oprah didn't listen. She believed in her vision and in herself when no one else did. She kept showing up, kept pushing forward because she knew something crucial. Believing in herself was non-negotiable. And today, Oprah is one of the most influential people in the world. Her belief in herself and her purpose allowed her to push through countless rejections and setbacks. Oprah didn't achieve success by accident. She achieved it because her belief was unstoppable, no matter the odds. Psychologically, belief is tied to self-worth and self-identity. When you believe in yourself, you send a message to your brain that you are worthy of success, that you are capable of achieving your dreams. But belief doesn't come easy. It's not something that magically appears the moment you need it. Belief is built over time through consistency, through wins, and through the way you speak to yourself. When you consistently take action toward your goals, when you push past your doubts and fears, you are strengthening your belief. Think about Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time. He was cut from his high school basketball team. That could have been the end of his story, but Jordan didn't let that defeat him. He used it to fuel his belief that he could become better. Every time he was knocked down, he came back stronger. Jordan's belief in himself wasn't just built on his talent. It was built on his relentless effort to prove to himself and others that he was meant to be the best. His mindset was one of unshakable belief, and it carried him to 6 NBA championships. Belief is not passive. It's something you must actively nurture and reinforce every day. The real challenge is when belief feels impossible, when your doubts are louder than your dreams. When you face failure or when things don't go as planned, belief becomes the thing that pushes you to get back up. Think about J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter became a global phenomenon, she faced rejection after rejection. 12 publishers turned her down. 12! She could have walked away. She could have listened to the voice that told her she wasn't good enough. But Rowling believed in the story she had to tell, and she didn't stop. Unstoppable belief is about moving forward despite rejection, despite failure, despite the voices telling you to quit. And when you have that kind of belief, nothing can stop you. You don't need to have all the answers to move forward. Belief doesn't require perfection. It requires action, confidence in your ability to learn, and the willingness to keep going. Belief is about trusting the process, even when you can't see the end result yet. It's about knowing that every step you take is a step closer to your goal, and that even mistakes are part of the journey. Belief isn't about being fearless. It's about pushing forward even when you're scared. It's about taking action in spite of fear, because you trust that your goals are worth the effort. When you look at the giants of success, whether it's Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, or Serena Williams, what you'll find is not just talent, but an unstoppable belief in their abilities and their purpose. They knew that the road to success wasn't going to be easy. They knew it would take sacrifices, setbacks, and failures, but they also knew that the key to overcoming those obstacles was believing that they could do it, that they were meant for greatness. They believed with every fiber of their being that they could achieve their dreams. Now ask yourself, do you believe in your ability to succeed? Do you believe in your potential and your capacity to overcome whatever stands in your way? If not, then it's time to start. Your belief is the most powerful tool you have. It's what will carry you through the hardest times, and it's what will propel you forward when everything else seems impossible. Develop that belief, strengthen it every day, and soon you'll see your world begin to shift around you. Unstoppable belief is the first step toward everything you've ever wanted. Start today. Failure is not the enemy. It's the greatest teacher you will ever have. Most people fear failure more than anything else, but the truth is, failure is simply part of the journey. The difference between those who achieve great things and those who don't is how they respond to failure. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as a stepping stone towards success. The greatest accomplishments of life don't come from avoiding failure. They come from overcoming it, from learning how to turn your mistakes into fuel for your next move. Let's talk about Thomas Edison. We all know him as the man who invented the light bulb, but what most people forget is that he failed over 1,000 times before he got it right. Can you imagine that? He could have quit after the first failure, the 10th or the 100th, but Edison didn't view failure as defeat. Instead, he saw it as progress. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work." Edison didn't just learn from his failures, he used them. Each failure taught him something new, something critical that brought him closer to the solution. Failure wasn't the end of the road for him, it was a necessary step in the process. He embraced failure as a crucial part of his journey, and it led him to one of the most world-changing inventions of all time. Then there's Michael Jordan, who many consider the greatest basketball player of all time. Here's a fun fact. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine that. A future legend in the sport told he wasn't good enough. Most people would have given up right there, but Jordan didn't. He used that rejection as fuel to prove everyone wrong. Jordan failed time and time again. He missed countless shots, lost countless games, but each failure made him better. Each mistake taught him a lesson. His response to failure was to get up, work harder, and keep improving. He didn't let failure define him. Instead, he let it drive him. His belief in himself and his commitment to learning from each setback made him the champion he became. Failure was never a wall. It was a stepping stone to greatness. Psychologically, failure is a powerful tool for growth. When you fail, you are forced to face the reality that what you tried didn't work. But that reality is not something to be afraid of. It's a chance to learn, to adapt, and to grow stronger. Our brains are wired to learn from mistakes. Failure forces you to analyze what went wrong, reassess your approach, and adjust. It teaches you resilience, perseverance, and the ability to innovate. When you embrace failure, you free yourself from the fear that keeps you from reaching your full potential. You stop seeing failure as a dead end and start seeing it as an opportunity to pivot, adjust, and come back stronger than ever. Take J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter. Before she became one of the world's best-selling authors, Rowling faced numerous rejections. In fact, Harry Potter was rejected 12 times before it was finally accepted by a publisher. Imagine that, 12 rejections. Most people would have abandoned the idea and moved on to something else. But Rowling believed in her story. She didn't let failure crush her spirit. Instead, she kept going, kept pushing, and eventually Harry Potter became a global phenomenon. Her failure wasn't a sign to quit. It was a sign to keep going, to trust in her vision, and to fight for her dream. When you fail, you also learn something important about yourself, your character. Failure tests your resolve, your commitment, and your willingness to push forward even when the path gets tough. It's easy to keep going when things are going well, but when you face failure, you reveal your true strength. Do you fold or do you rise? Do you let failure define you or do you learn from it and use it as fuel for your next attempt? How you respond to failure is what separates the successful from the unsuccessful. So let me ask you, what are you afraid to fail at? What's that big goal, that dream that you've been holding back on because you're scared of failing? Here's the truth. If you want to achieve something extraordinary, you have to be willing to fail. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater. It's where the growth happens. It's where the lessons are learned. Failure is simply a stepping stone to your success, a necessary part of the process that will eventually lead you to your breakthrough. So the next time you face failure, don't run from it, embrace it, learn from it, and use it to propel yourself to the next level. Because in the end, your greatest achievements will come from how you rise after you fall. Creating accountability is one of the most powerful strategies you can use to stay on track and achieve your goals. The truth is, we all need someone or something to hold us accountable, especially when the journey gets tough. You may have all the motivation in the world and a solid plan in place, but without accountability, you'll likely lose momentum and eventually fall off course. Accountability keeps you honest. It pushes you to keep going when the initial excitement fades. It forces you to face your commitments head on and ensures that you stay committed to your vision, even when life throws distractions your way. Let's talk about David Goggins, a man who embodies accountability in every aspect of his life. Goggins was not born a fitness powerhouse or an ultra-marathon runner. He started as an overweight, unmotivated man working a job he hated. But something shifted when he created an accountability system for himself. He realized that he was the only one who could push himself beyond his limits. So he took full responsibility for his actions and set out to run marathons, break world records, and transform his body. Goggins didn't just set goals, he created accountability in every step of the process. He started putting himself in situations where his commitment couldn't be ignored. Whether it was signing up for races he didn't feel prepared for or telling people about his goals, Goggins held himself accountable to the highest standard. And guess what? It worked. He pushed his limits, became a Navy SEAL, and completed the toughest challenges known to man. Accountability made all the difference in his journey. But here's the kicker. Accountability isn't just about having someone else to answer to. It's about holding yourself accountable first. This is the foundation of true accountability. When you make a commitment to yourself and show up for it consistently, you build trust with yourself. This is the most powerful kind of accountability. It's the kind that doesn't depend on external forces. It depends on your integrity, your word, and your belief in your own ability to follow through. Think about someone like Bill Gates. Early in his career, Gates had accountability partners and mentors who held him to a standard, but what set him apart was his unrelenting accountability to himself. He held himself responsible for making Microsoft the giant it is today. He didn't just wake up and hope things worked out. He showed up day after day, making decisions, confronting challenges, and pushing through the hard times. Gates knew that the only way to create lasting success was to consistently hold himself accountable for every single action. Without that personal responsibility, he wouldn't have built one of the most successful companies in the world. Psychologically, accountability works by tapping into your fear of letting others down and your fear of letting yourself down. When we tell someone our goals, it gives them the power to ask us how we're doing, how we're progressing, and that external pressure creates a layer of urgency that you can't ignore. But it goes deeper than just fear of disappointing others. It's about integrity. When you tell someone that you'll do something, your word carries weight. You'll work harder to keep that promise because you know it matters. And when you show up for yourself in this way, it builds confidence and momentum, making you more likely to keep moving toward your goals. However, there's a catch. Accountability is only effective if you embrace it. If you're resistant to being held accountable, or if you don't take it seriously, you won't get the results you're after. You need to actively seek out accountability, whether that's a coach, a friend, a mentor, or a support group. It doesn't matter who it is, but you need someone who will ask you the hard questions, someone who will check in with you and hold you to your highest potential. Without this external force, it's too easy to give yourself excuses, to let your goals slide, and to fall into the trap of complacency. Think about Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. She didn't get there by working in isolation. She had coaches, mentors, and accountability partners who pushed her beyond her limits. She didn't just rely on herself. She surrounded herself with a network of people who held her accountable to her goals. This network of support was essential in keeping her focused, motivated, and working toward becoming the best. So ask yourself this: who is holding you accountable right now? Are you surrounding yourself with people who push you, who challenge you, who won't let you settle for mediocrity? If you don't have that, it's time to find it. Set up systems of accountability for yourself. Tell someone your goals. Share your progress. Find a mentor who will give you honest feedback. And most importantly, hold yourself accountable. The moment you commit to accountability is the moment you unlock your ability to achieve the extraordinary. Without it, your goals will always be out of reach. But with it, you'll start seeing progress, you'll start hitting milestones, and before you know it, you'll be achieving the things you once thought were impossible. Working with urgency is the difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who let time slip through their fingers. The clock is ticking, and the longer you wait, the farther you fall behind. In a world where opportunities don't come around every day, working with urgency is non-negotiable. It's about treating your goals like they matter, like they need to be accomplished now, not later. Urgency drives action, and action is what leads to progress. If you don't work with urgency, you'll get comfortable, and comfort is the enemy of achievement. Take Steve Jobs. His entire career was built around working with a sense of urgency. When Jobs wanted to revolutionize personal computing, he didn't sit back and wait for the perfect moment. He didn't wait for the market to catch up. He pushed forward, knowing that if he didn't move quickly, someone else would beat him to the punch. Jobs was relentless. He understood that the window for greatness was small, and if you don't seize it, you'll be left behind. The speed at which he moved, his urgency, was the reason Apple became the tech giant it is today. Jobs didn't wait for success to find him. He created it by working relentlessly every single day. Psychologically, urgency forces us to confront the finite nature of time. We all have a limited amount of time on this planet, yet we tend to live like we have forever. The truth is, time is the one resource you can never get back. When you work with urgency, you recognize this truth and act accordingly. It pushes you to be efficient, to prioritize what truly matters, and to stop procrastinating. Urgency isn't about rushing through life or taking reckless actions. It's about being intentional with your time, knowing exactly what needs to get done and doing it now, not tomorrow. Think about Elon Musk, who has set some of the most ambitious goals in history, whether it's sending humans to Mars or building a sustainable future through electric vehicles. Musk approaches each challenge with an overwhelming sense of urgency. He's publicly said that he believes humanity has very little time to make massive changes before irreversible damage is done to the planet. And that belief fuels his work at an astonishing pace. Musk works with urgency, not out of desperation, but out of clarity. He understands that the world is changing fast, and if he doesn't move quickly, others will. Urgency is a mindset, a belief that every second counts, and Musk embodies that mindset. When you work with urgency, you feel the pressure of time, but in a good way. It fuels you. It wakes you up and forces you to focus. How many times have you found yourself dragging your feet, procrastinating, and telling yourself you'll get to something tomorrow? That's the trap. The moment you put things off, you lose momentum. The longer you wait, the easier it becomes to lose interest, to lose passion, and eventually to lose the opportunity itself. Urgency forces you to move before the moment passes. The sooner you act, the closer you get to your goal, and the quicker your results will start showing. But urgency isn't about doing everything at once. It's about recognizing what matters most and focusing on that with everything you have. When you treat your goals with urgency, you stop wasting time on distractions and meaningless tasks. You stop saying, I'll get to it later. You start saying, I'm doing this now and nothing is going to stop me. It means working with purpose, focusing on progress, not perfection, and pushing through the difficult moments when everything feels like a struggle. Let me tell you about Kobe Bryant, a legend in the basketball world. Kobe wasn't just great because he was talented. He was great because he put in the work with unmatched urgency. He woke up at 4 a.m. every day while others were still asleep to get his shots in. Kobe didn't wait for the season to start. He worked with urgency all year round. He understood that greatness doesn't come to those who wait for it. It comes to those who actively pursue it with urgency and commitment. So ask yourself, how urgent is your commitment to your goals? Do you feel the weight of time pressing against you, motivating you to take action right now? Because if you don't feel urgency, then you're not moving fast enough. The difference between success and failure often comes down to timing, and the only way to seize opportunities is to move quickly. You've got to stop waiting for the perfect moment, because that moment will never come. Start working with urgency today, and the momentum you create will carry you through any challenge, no matter how big. Time is the one thing you'll never get back, so use it wisely. Move with urgency, act now, and watch your life transform. Taking care of yourself is the foundation of everything you want to achieve in life. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle, in the grind, and to think that success is just about pushing harder, working longer, and sacrificing every aspect of your well-being for the sake of your goals. But the truth is, without taking care of yourself, you're sabotaging your own success. You cannot give your best to the world, your career, or your relationships if you're running on empty. You can't pour from an empty cup. The most successful people in the world understand this. Your mind, body, and spirit must be cared for if you're going to achieve anything meaningful. Look at Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin Group. Branson is known for being one of the most successful entrepreneurs in the world, but what you don't always hear about is how much he values his health. He's a firm believer in the power of physical activity, often making time for sports like kite surfing and tennis. Branson knows that if he doesn't take care of himself, he won't be able to run his companies or pursue his goals with the same energy. He invests in his health because he knows that the better he feels physically, the more mentally sharp and focused he can be. Branson's story is proof that taking care of your body isn't just about looking good or feeling good. It's about performing at your best. Psychologically, taking care of yourself is crucial for maintaining the mental clarity and emotional stability needed to reach your goals. When you neglect your health, whether that's through poor nutrition, lack of exercise, or insufficient sleep, your mind starts to slow down. You get foggy, distracted, and lack the energy to push through challenges. Your body and mind are interconnected. If one suffers, so does the other. This isn't just about being physically healthy, it's about creating the conditions for mental strength and emotional resilience. When you take care of yourself, you're reinforcing your ability to stay focused, stay positive, and stay driven. Think about Serena Williams, one of the greatest athletes of all time. Serena doesn't just show up to win. She works tirelessly on her body, making sure she's physically prepared for the grueling demands of professional tennis. But it's not just about hitting the gym or running drills, it's about balance. Serena focuses on rest, recovery, and mental health just as much as she does on physical training. She's built a routine that prioritizes her well-being, and that's why she's able to perform at such a high level. Success isn't just about pushing harder, it's about having the endurance to keep going, and that comes from caring for yourself. But here's the truth, taking care of yourself isn't always easy. In a world where everyone is busy and constantly hustling, it can feel like there's no time to take a step back and focus on self-care. But that's exactly when you need it the most. Taking care of yourself isn't an indulgence, it's a necessity. You need to make time for rest, for eating right, for exercise, and for mental health. This isn't about being selfish. It's about ensuring that you have the energy and clarity to give your best in every area of your life. Your health isn't something to put off. It's something that must be prioritized. Think about Arianna Huffington, who faced burnout after working herself to the point of exhaustion. After collapsing from exhaustion, Huffington took a step back and reevaluated her life. She realized that no amount of success or achievement was worth sacrificing her well-being. Now, she's an advocate for self-care and healthy living. Huffington has built a lifestyle that prioritizes sleep, exercise, and stress management. And as a result, she's more successful than ever. Her story is a powerful reminder that you can't chase success at the expense of your health. Here's the key. Your health is your greatest asset. If you don't take care of yourself, everything else falls apart. You cannot achieve your goals if you're not physically, mentally, and emotionally in a position to pursue them. Start small, make time to get active, eat nourishing foods, sleep well, and invest in your mental health. When you take care of yourself, you create the foundation for your success. You're giving yourself the energy, clarity, and resilience needed to face challenges, push through difficulties, and continue striving toward your dreams. So ask yourself, are you taking care of yourself like you take care of your goals? Because you are the most important asset you'll ever have. Start putting yourself first and everything else will follow. Celebrating small wins along the way is the secret to staying motivated and building momentum as you work toward your larger goals. So often we focus so intensely on the big picture that we forget to acknowledge the progress we make each day. We get caught in the trap of thinking that our success is only valid once we reach the end goal. But the truth is, small wins are just as important as the big ones. They are the stepping stones that build the foundation for everything else. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's built one small victory at a time. Look at Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players of all time. Serena didn't win every match with a single swing of the racket. Every win, big or small, was a result of consistent hard work, practice, and perseverance. She celebrated those small moments, whether it was a new personal best in her training or a key victory on the way to a bigger tournament. Those small wins fueled her confidence and belief in her ability. Each time she succeeded, it wasn't just a victory, it was a step toward her next major goal. Serena Williams didn't just focus on the championship, she celebrated every single point, every match, every win along the way. That's the mindset that made her not just a winner, but a true champion. Psychologically, celebrating small wins helps to reinforce positive behavior. When you take time to acknowledge your progress, you are telling your brain, this is worth it. It boosts your motivation, increases your confidence, and strengthens your resolve to keep pushing forward. Small wins also activate the dopamine system in your brain, which is responsible for feelings of reward and accomplishment. This isn't just a fleeting feeling, it has a long-term effect on how you approach future challenges. When you celebrate even the smallest victories, you are training your brain to keep moving forward, to stay positive, and to embrace challenges. Over time, that creates an unstoppable momentum. Take Elon Musk, another prime example. When Musk was creating Tesla and SpaceX, there were countless obstacles and failures, but what kept him going, what kept him motivated, was his ability to celebrate each small step, each prototype that worked, each new investor that came on board, each successful launch. Those small wins gave him the energy to keep going. Musk didn't wait for the final product or the massive victory to feel accomplished. He celebrated the wins, however small they seemed, because they were part of the journey. He understood that success isn't a straight line. It's a series of small steps, and each one deserves recognition. The problem with not celebrating small wins is that it's easy to burn out. If you're only focused on the end goal, you risk losing steam before you get there. It's easy to feel discouraged when the road seems long or when progress feels slow, but when you pause to acknowledge the small victories, you're reminding yourself that progress is happening. You're reinforcing the belief that you're on the right path, and that will fuel you to keep moving forward. Take a moment to reflect. What small wins have you had today? Maybe you completed a task you've been putting off, made progress on a project, or took a step toward your health or financial goals. Each of these moments matters, and they deserve to be celebrated. You don't have to throw a party for every small win, but take a second to recognize them. Acknowledge your effort, appreciate your growth, and take pride in the progress you've made. Remember, the big goals are achieved through a series of smaller, consistent actions. It's not about waiting until the finish line to celebrate. It's about enjoying the process, learning from each step, and celebrating every small success along the way. When you do this, you stay motivated, You stay energized and you keep moving toward your dreams with a sense of pride and purpose. So next time you hit a milestone, whether it's a small victory or a big one, take a moment to celebrate, appreciate how far you've come, and use that energy to fuel your next step. The journey isn't just about the destination, it's about the wins you collect along the way. Celebrate them all.